Bunker Hill, also known as Holiday Express, is a super rare rarity aircraft carrier from the Eagle Union and is a part of the Essex class of aircraft carriers. She's only available from drops after defeating the boss on stage 13-4. Bunker Hill was launched from the Four River Shipyard on the 7th of December 1942, commissioned on the 25th of May 1943, decommissioned on the 9th of January 1947, reclassified to attack carrier on the 1st of October 1952, reclassified again to anti-submarine carrier on the 8th of August 1953, reclassified for a third time to auxiliary aircraft landing training ship in May 1959, stricken on the 2nd of November 1966, and sold for scrap after an unsuccessful attempt to make her a museum ship in 1973. Bunker did the usual tasks an American carrier did in the Second World War. Here are her more interesting exploits. During the raid on Truk Atoll, she assisted in sinking 8 Japanese warships, was commanded by Vice Admiral Mark A. Mitchter, with Commodore Arleigh Burke as his chief of staff, had her aircraft locate IJN Yamato in April 1945, and later assisted in the sinking of the Yamato, the screening light cruiser, and 4 of the 8 destroyers, along with other carrier aircraft. Was hit twice by kamikazes on the 11th of May 1945 while supporting the invasion of Okinawa. The first A6M0, piloted by Lieutenant Junior Grade Seizo Yasunori, dropped a 250-kilo bomb that penetrated Bunker Hill's flight deck, exiting at the gallery deck before exploding in the water. Before Yasunori crashed into the flight deck, destroying parked planes, ammo, and fuel, causing a large explosion and many fires. The second, piloted by Ensign Kiyoshi Ogawa, dropped another 250-kilo bomb, then crashed through. In her character art, drawn by Science, Bunker wears the typical Essex-class navy blue dress with red and white accents, with a belt underneath her bust, a very tall black collar, black tights, black high-cut boots, a black rose with black ribbon in her hair, and the typical Essex-class navy blue coat with Essex-class star insignia and white straps. Her rigging consists of 2 armatures to her left and right. The one to her left has a smaller flight deck with 17 at the end, and some AA guns underneath the deck, while the one to her right has a larger deck that's sectional and the front of a ship. 2 F4U Corsairs and a Great Horned Owl fly to her left. In her voice lines, voiced by Kana Ichinose, who also voices Ichigo in Darling in the Franxx, Maki Shijo in Love is War, Kako Kurai in Hitori Bochi, Tuesday Simmons in Carol and Tuesday, Yuzuriha Ogawa in Dr. Stone, Siletta Mercury and Eric Samaya in Mobile Suit Gundam The Witch from Mercury, Purin in Do It Yourself, Fern in Freeren, Mark 12 and Scout in Girls Frontline, and Layla in Idolmaster. Bunker often has her mind on the war.
エセックス級のバンカーヒルだ。名はかの独立戦争の戦場から来ている。活躍した戦闘は多いが、悲しみと痛みをもたらす戦争のことだ。多くは語るまい。今は非常時だ。休日でも、ホリデーエクスプレスの覚悟をしてくれたまえ。メール。新しい情報はあるか？戻ったか？では、次の出撃の準備に入るか？今日もどこかでは、戦争の炎に巻き込まれているのだな。人間の戦争に、美しさなど存在しない。傷つけ合い、殺し合いなど、醜いものしか存在しないのだ。戦いのために生まれた私たちは、戦闘以外に存在価値などないと思った。お前との日々を過ごして、私たちには戦うこと以外にも、生きる価値がある。そんな、気がする。
At level 125 with max affinity and enhancements, Bunker has 6,767 HP, 430 aviation, 316 AA, 132 reload, 56 evasion, medium armor, 33 speed, 85 accuracy, 35 luck, and consumes 13 oil. Bunker has 2 skills, which focus on buffing herself and others. Bunker's first skill, Task Force Leader, at level 10, gives Bunker plus 15% aviation. When she is the flagship of a fleet, she gives plus 15% firepower to equal Union battleships in the same fleet as her. When sortied in any other position, she gives plus 15% firepower and AA to equal Union destroyers in the same fleet. Her second skill, Unwavering Resolution, at level 10, when there are no other carriers or light carriers in the same fleet as Bunker, plus 12% AA to the main fleet. When Bunker launches an airstrike, she launches an additional special airstrike based on the number of carriers and light carriers in the fleet. 1 carrier present launches fighters, 2 launches fighters and dive bombers, and 3 launches torpedo bombers and dive bombers. The recommended equipment for Bunker is either a prototype XF-5U Flying Flapjack, F-7F Tiger Cat or Sea Hornet for fighters, prototype Tenrai or 81 Sky Raider for dive bombers, Wyvern or prototype Spearfish for torpedo bombers, 2 Gold Steam catapults, and a scepter. To get the most use out of Bunker Hill, you need to do 2 super easy things. First is not having her as a flagship, which is literally just not having her in the flagship slot. Second is having 2 other carriers as the remaining ships in the main fleet. Doesn't even need to be the same faction as her. With that, her S1 gives your Eagle Union destroyers plus 15% firepower and AA, which is very, very useful to someone like Laffy 2, and gives her an aviation stat buff, while her S2 has her launch an additional airstrike when she launches an airstrike with torpedo bombers and dive bombers when there are 3 carriers present. The downsides of Bunker Hill are just as straightforward. The most glaring one is her availability, only being obtainable from boss drops on what was previously the last story stage in the game. Then there's the fact that her S1 kinda hinders her usability by buffing battleships if she's made flagship, which goes against what her S2 can do. Speaking of, her S2 does partially force you to build around Bunker Hill to get the most out of her. Overall, medium to medium high priority to build based on how you build your fleets. Thank you for watching. Please follow my Twitter and Blue Sky for updates, and please check out my other Arknights and Girls Frontline videos as well.